why don't we got, I mean, I can,
Just outside.
all right. All right, so why don't we call ourselves to order at 7:31?
Got it.
All right.
Roll call. Harvey Buford,
Here,
Lydia Lamfair. Lydia.
I'm here.
Okay, don't mute yourself. We need you tonight. Anyway, Deborah O'Leary here. Okay. Let's go.
so we're gonna have a little bit of a change to our agenda. But let's go ahead and we call to order approval or correction of minutes and workshop notes. Correct me if I need to, Debbie, but I believe this is the only outstanding minutes to approve is May 13th.
That is correct.
And Gary was absent at that, and everybody else was there. I believe that's correct.
That is also correct.
Okay, and I've read them. Lydia, have you read the minutes?
I did.
Okay, and Debbie, so between us, we've all seen them. Does anyone want to make them?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of what you said, the 13th.
Yes.
Yep, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the May 13th meeting.
I
Deb,
second it.
Okay, all right. Is there any discussion?
No.
All in favor? Harvey, aye.
Deb, aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
All right, featured items. Consider an executive session regarding the letter of May 10th from Bob Marvel to the Conservation Commission. We've been advised that we have to take that off the agenda. So that's off the agenda.
Yeah. So,
Item B,
item A.
next step for farm viability ordinance and farm viability ordinance solar. So I had sent around after I spoke with Deb following the last meeting to be sure that we had we were working from the most recent version of the hearings, because they go back so far, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
We agreed that well, the one that I shared again today and had shared, I forget when the other time was, starts out saying 8/4/18 Hopkinton Conservation Commission draft ordinance changes reflecting 7/30/18 workshop with town council. Blue type is added, blue type underline is added after 7/30/18. Red type is deleted, green type and green strike through are changes discussed at 8/9/18 Conservation Commission meeting.
Right.
And at least the most recent time way back then that was sent around was, I think it was November 12th or something like that of 2019. So a year and a half later or so, I guess we were looking at maybe getting something going with the town council again, and that's probably about when the solar all came in, and they got pushed to the rear. So that is the version that we consider to be the most recent. It had the changes that the Conservation Commission had been working with the farmers on. It had interaction from, I think, 2 or more workshops with the town council. And it still had and it already had the Farm Viability Ordinance solar attached to it. I believe it's on the end of my copy, which has since been removed. So anyway, that is the version that we have. That is the version I believe that we would, unless we wish to start another session with the farmers again, that is the version I think we would show to the town council and say, here's kind of where we're at. Does that make sense, Lydia and Deb?
Yep.
I think so. This essentially has all of the items we had. We had, discussed, the farm stands and the new. There were some changes in definitions, I think, we cleaned up some definitions, and they're all here. It looks,
And
it look really, you know, and the only thing is, where did I see this? Hold on just a second, Harvey. I'm actually looking at it as I talk. Did we figure out, you know how the small farm definition is the land of at least 5 acres? Is, okay. Yeah, it is, okay. I see it. It's here. All right, never
right,
mind.
we also had the crop farm in there.
Mhm.
The other thing to bring up is, and it's not here, but it would also be in our recommendation, is the thing that we came out with less than a year. When was this? November? I can't even remember now.
Yeah.
Well, regarding like when Ronnie Sposato did his thing, and we realized we got to find a way to tighten up the
The language.
the definition of the farmer to the point where we got farmers and not landowners.
Mhm.
You know, if we want to give solar to landowners, that's a separate, you know, can be done as a separate issue. But anyway, so we had ideas of how to tighten that up. So those are some things, but we've already put that out there. But we could certainly, if we get an opportunity from the town council to try to get the farm viability ordinance going again, we certainly want to add that one part consideration to so we don't have people claiming to be farmers so they can do the solar.
Right. We don't need that. And
Yeah.
it's really, the important thing too is that we look at this document, it's a farm viability ordinance, but essentially it's an economic development ordinance. It is. We could do a lot more to help our farmers and to help the town. And I know you're listening, Bob, we need an economic development commission and we need it yesterday. That's all I'm gonna say. But this draft is pretty clean, Harvey. This is really good.
Right. All right. I'm not sure what we're going to do with it now, but we have it ready.
Okay.
If the town council wants to work with it, it
Okay.
reflects a lot of hours put in by Conservation Commission and farmers.
Because to be honest, Harvey, this is such a busy time of year for farmers. It would be hard to get them all in a room to discuss any of this right now.
Absolutely, but I don't think it's going to fall into our laps anytime soon. I don't know where it would. Typically, it'd be scheduled some months out, I would think.
Okay. Now I gotta find out how I get
All
that.
right. Does anybody got any other questions on that item? Any suggestions for doing anything, Lydia?
Nope, we spent a lot of time on it, so I think it's pretty much as touched as we need it to be, right?
Right. All right, let's move on. Fodder Hill Dam and Mill. You know, I know there's been some online presentations. I'm assuming that they're available on the Wesley website. There was, I believe, back in March, there was a very nice general explanation of all the issues. I know there was one tonight. I went to one, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something I went to the Wesley Town Hall for it. And so I think they explained things quite well. They've really got a good team as far as being able to tell the story. And so really good, a good basis for having facts for making decisions. They have said, I know it was a big thing that Scott Bill Hurst was bringing up, was the issue of people need to have new wells. And I did not know this, but Jim Turek, who's the conservation chair in Richmond and also the NOAA representative, he's been involved in 40 dam removals, he says. He says that part of dealing with this is giving these people new wells. So if their wells are going to be, if they can see that the wells are going to be impacted, they're not trying to say, well, that's your problem. You know, I didn't know what the right answer is. I wasn't quite sure in my own mind whose problem it is, you know, other than I don't wish anybody a $10,000 expense unexpected, but anyway, so I'm guessing that that's what, and it's a very short list of people, I think, that, and mostly in Hopkinton, because what most of the folks in Westerly have public water, and the ones in Westerly that I believe everybody over on Hiscox off of Potter Hill Road, I think they're all public water. I think it's areas way north of Bradford, up up around Chapman Pond and over in those areas on Route 91 that are on private wells. And it's hard to imagine that this, I haven't quite figured out how this dam so far below Bradford, 8 miles by river, is somehow impacting somebody that's 10, 12 miles upstream, whatever that distance is by river. So anyway, some of that stuff to be played out, but I think that's I think it's a foregone conclusion that the dam is going to go. Nobody's going to pay to fix the dam, but they will pay to get rid of it. So that's just my quick analysis. Can always be surprised by something, but those are the things that I've seen. Now, what have you guys heard? If anybody living along there talked to either one of you?
To me, no. I've seen, some people have posted some concerns, and a lot of people like the waterfall over the dam, that visual waterfall that will be gone if the dam is removed. And those are the kinds of, they just say, people don't like change. Let's put it that way. They don't like change, even if it's for the betterment of the whole. Some people just don't like change. So, but the only thing I did wonder about the wells, and most of the people I heard along that way that might be impacted only have a dug well.
Yeah.
They only have a dug well. They don't have a drilled well. They don't have an artesian well. So
well,
that's why they're concerned.
A lot of the area right in where Ashwave is it's the Ashwave stratified drift aquifer, so it's sand and gravel right on down for 60 feet or so full of water. So all you got to do is just tap down into that. But I think as you go upstream of the dam, you're getting out of that area. I believe you are, and you're getting into stuff that's harder to get your water out of. The other thing about the Fodder Hill Dam and Mill, let me see, where's my notes? I had something else I was going to bring up, and I'm drawing a blank on it right now. Oh, I'm sorry. A big thing is, it looked like, because I watched the town council, I didn't get to watch it that night, but I watched another night, the town council discussion of Fodder Hill and the charge that they were giving to this new committee that I didn't even know they were creating. And it didn't deal with any of the issues that downstream that I've been focused on that are traditional conservation and land trust type of issues. But there's a big chunk of property with, 800,000 feet of frontage along the river that belong to the mill, associated with the mill, and it's on the Hopkinton side. Terribly eroded, a lot of damage and stuff there, but a beautiful location. Could be one of the most sought after places to go and be along a river, or to launch your kayak or whatever, or to fish. And
I think Elaine Calderon was talking about this too.
Say that again.
I think Elaine Calderon had mentioned this too, as that spot being good for a put-in for a kayak.
So anyway, it's a wonderful opportunity. Even if the dam was staying, it would be a wonderful opportunity. But I think it'll be particularly so with it gone. And I just want to see, I've mentioned it to the land trust. I haven't really had any interchange with any of them other than just copying them on something to let them know that, you know, we need to look at that, because the opportunity may be, all I know, it may be just gifted. Here, you got, and they might be delighted to have somebody take ownership. And then, you know, over time, it would be a matter, if either you get money out of the dam rework, you know, take care of the erosional issues and stuff there, or if not, you wait till the next grant round for trails or something, you know, and we get some real money and be able to make some improvements. So I just think that's just it's an opportunity that we need to snag.
Is that off River Road, Harvey?
Say what?
Is this piece of land?
What about it?
What road is it off?
It's the shoulder of Laurel Street.
Oh, okay.
It runs almost from the dam. The ownership, you know, runs the dam all the way down to way past Clay Street and to the first house. There's a red house back there, and it cuts actually in behind the house and heads west. It doesn't reach all the way over to the mouth of the Ashwave River, but it reaches pretty close to it. And the Ashwave River, the mouth of the Ashwave River is where the state boundary between, you know, Connecticut and Rhode Island follows the river till it gets to the mouth of the Ashwave River, and then it turns and runs north to Massachusetts.
Okay.
So it's so it's really a valuable piece of property, and it would be huge for recreational purposes.
For sure.
So anyway, I wanted us to keep stirring that up, and anytime we can have conversations with the folks that are, you know, the folks in Westerly that are kind of overseeing the project, just keep pushing. The name of the special master is his title, Mr. Dorsey. He was also the master, and may still be, for upstream of Bradford, for the Bradford Dying Association property, which includes a property on the Hopkinton side that we've been trying to acquire, but it's also a polluted site. So, so it makes it a little more complicated. But anyway, I just want to really talk about that, because we should all be talking this up and building as much public momentum for preservation of that 900,000 feet, depending on, you know, depends on how you measure it, you know, along the curve.
That's a lot of frontage for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for just a couple of acres, it's a lot of frontage. Yeah, and there'd be plenty of shoulder. I think there could be plenty of shoulder parking there. The whole length of that property, almost along the shoulder of Laurel, could be a parallel parking. It's a shoulder there for you to park off the pavement. And I just think because parking has always been a problem, but it's really not a problem if we take advantage of what we have.
Yeah, and that would be a really good, safe put-in site too, and put out. People could, you know, take a break along the way as they kayak down. That's what.
All right, so
I've had a lot of people ask me about kayaking, where they could put their kayak in, and like nobody knows that little Locustville fishing area down there. If somebody wants to go kayak on Locustville Pond, most people go breeze right by the sign.
most people what?
They breeze right by the sign. They say, you know, how do you get into the lake? You know, and they, well, that's how you do it.
Which sign are we talking about? I didn't catch the first part of it.
Locustville, the pond.
That's what I thought you said. Okay, I thought you were still down here somewhere. So,
Oh, no.
you know, there is just a short distance away over in Westerly is Post Office Lane, and that goes into yeah, it's a little one-lane way in, but that's you can park 4, 5, 6 cars on the gravel area there, and the grass areas are open. I guess they intended it that way, DM, and you could probably get you might be able to get 15, 20 cars in there if you made an effort. So, but it's not public. I like these places to be in very public, where the police and everybody can see what's going on. Keeps things toned down a little bit. You know, you don't have people throwing as much trash and making as much of a mess, or potentially doing those things. So I think this is an ideal spot. All right, why don't we move on? Try to get out of here early. Planning board, zoning board, Deb?
Yeah, okay, planning board, zoning board. We had this past meeting, you know, we're having 2 meetings a month. There's going to be another meeting on Wednesday next week. But last week's meeting was about the little housing development going in on I call it the Witch's Rock development. And
Fairview Estates.
yeah, Fairview Estates. And the consultant for the town, the development consultant, what's his name? Why am I going blank on his name? You know who I'm talking about. The guy from the other.
Yeah, the engineers out of Warwick.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. He said that they had done everything right and it was exactly the way it should be according to regulations and so forth, but he kept ruminating on the fact that they're worried about runoff. And they are leaving a lot of undisturbed vegetation. They are putting in a big detention pond. The thing is the big detention pond is right near Fairview Avenue. So I guess that's their concern. But according to DEM and all that, it's designed the way it's supposed to be designed. So I don't know what he was getting at. I hope that's not going to hold up the thing. They are going to have affordable units, which are really necessary right now. And you know,
I'm sorry, are you saying the affordable units right now are particularly important?
Well, it is we're really, okay, let me back up. We are really in pretty good shape as far as the affordable housing mandate is concerned, in that we're about where a lot of other towns are. In fact, we're better than where a lot of towns are right now. But this is rental housing that they're talking about. And we have a very, very small inventory, if any, of rental housing in Hopkinton. So these are going to be rented. And they are going to have some issues with, they're worried about, that was the other thing. They're worried about the maintenance because they're going to have a small homeowners association, I guess. And you know, they've got to inspect the swales and so forth, which is important. We know what happened down past Wood River, helped there with that development and the flooding that they had. So it is important. It's important. I don't know how they're going to do that on a regular basis. I mean, that is one of the things about not having infrastructure, is that every single development that you put together has to really have its own, and they have to maintain it, and they have to make sure it works right. And the way things change hands sometimes, you don't know. But they did address that. They did talk about it. And I think that's the big concern people have, is that, great, we're going to build it, we're going to have all this, we're going to have the swales and the detention pond, and we're going to design it properly and all that, but it still needs to be maintained. So I'm thinking just the way, you know, Bob, like we have to have, you know, have our solar people put money up to take care of the solar, to take down the solar when they're done with it. But maybe we really need these people to float a bond to put money in so that the maintenance gets done. I don't know how many years it's going to last, but Or
Yep.
something to check it in 20, it really, when it needs to be checked, like in 25 years. Not
Yeah.
in 10, not in 5.
The question I have for you.
Sure.
I don't recall hearing why this was developed with a private road versus a town of Hopkinton road. I don't know that they went to a lesser standard. Why did they go with because if it was a public road, the town would be responsible for. I mean, there's an expense for the town, but I'm just talking about having an entity responsible for it.
The width of the road itself, Harvey. I remember because that road, the road to get in there is right along, pretty close to the property line on the, I guess it's the northeastern side or northwestern side of the property. So I don't think it's going to be wide enough for it to be a town road. Has certain dimensions
Right.
it has to follow, right?
It has to follow, it can only have certain slopes. It has to have a run out
And it has a big
near
hill.
the street where the water doesn't drain onto the street. In theory, there's all kinds of, and it certainly has to have certain widths and so forth. But I wasn't aware that they weren't able to meet that, and so that's why you think they went with a private road.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, okay. So maybe it won't happen on the next project because there's another, there's another Fairview something or another that's going to be a cluster somewhere up in that area. That's I haven't. You said you don't have your packet yet?
No, I didn't get down there today. Sorry about that. But
All right, so
I will look at it. Also, I believe that let's see what's coming up. They're going to bring back. I mean, I'm skipping ahead to A and B, but those are going to be reheard again. The hearings are essentially over, but I'm sure there's a couple of things they want to iron out beforehand. I know there was some administrative stuff and so forth before they can actually make a decision on Stone Ridge and Camoli. And I think that's it. I mean, the most of the discussion in the last meeting was on Fairview Estates. So,
okay.
okay, but it looks good. The access to Rich's Rock is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to take what we can get because we don't have deep pockets to buy land.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So is that your planning board zoning board report?
Yeah. Yep. I don't have any for zoning board. I've been missing that for weeks now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything new on any of that legislation relating to farms or environment? Or is it all just sitting in committees?
No, everything seems to be sitting in committee. I did check the committee hearing agendas, and I didn't see anything that looked like it was going to go up for a vote out of committee. So that's it. And it's really hard right now because Zoom and internet and the Capitol TV is having all kinds of problems with not posting, but if you want to watch it live, they've had all kinds of problems lately. They'll get halfway through a hearing and all of a sudden the thing cuts right out and all you get is the little buffering thing going around. And it wasn't my computer. If you went on, I went on the legislative site today and it said, none of these are available because our internet provider had an outage. Who's the internet provider? This is state government we're talking about.
Yep.
So, anyway, I'll keep an eye on it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Old business. Stone Ridge. I don't have any news myself, but it's coming up soon. I guess I went in to town hall to vote last Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. It's just 2 days ago. I'm sorry. And Ron Perlowitz he's the one that checked my ID, and he just said that the planning board is doing you must know this. The planning board was doing a sidewalk, and they're doing it. I didn't get the details because we're in the middle of, other stuff going on, but they've got a new spin on how to do the sidewalks now. I don't know if it's all happening on the same day, but no more than 2 members of the planning board go out at a single time, so they don't have to keep any minutes or notes. I don't know. Apparently that's what it's all about. I've never seen that
because of COVID, but that's all right.
But anyway, at least they're getting out on the site, which is so helpful. So, yeah. So that's the only thing I know about it. When is it coming back up as a project?
See, I'm not sure if it's on the next one or if it's in July.
So right. So there are two planning board meetings in June. Is that right?
That's right. There was one last Wednesday, and there's going to be one next Wednesday.
Okay.
Which is what, the 17th? No, the 16th.
All right, and Ron said that the public was not invited to that, those site walks, obviously either. So that's I've never seen. The planning board doesn't do very many site walks. I've only been on half a dozen in 20 years, probably, or more. But they always before the public was invited. So I don't know what's changed on that. I don't know if they were they doing a sidewalk, or did they do a sidewalk at Kamali? I don't remember.
I believe they did. Yes, okay. I believe they did sidewalks for both projects. Although some of the planning board did go to
oh yeah, okay.
If you recall.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that made it easier for them.
I remember someone saying that they went to the sidewalk that with the Conservation Commission, so they didn't feel they needed to go again. I do remember that now. I've forgotten. Okay. Anything on either one of those, on Ridge or Kamali, Lydia?
No.
You feel you're on top of that pretty much? You've read everything?
For the most part, yeah. I've read everything.
Okay. All right. Item C, 6C. Budget trails mapping grants. I had a Zoom meeting yesterday, late afternoon, with Marilyn Grant and Peter Stetson. So we're getting very close on the maps and the note and the kiosk posters for up at Depot Square, Crown Farm, and a redo on the ones for Grills Preserve Hopkinton. So, and that'll be done. I've got to get that finalized within a few days. It might at the latest beginning of the week, and then I'm planning on ordering those. The company that prints those for us on the material that we want it printed on, it's Sensor or whatever it's called. They're up in and that large format printing. They're up in New Hampshire, and anyway, so we've got the budget for it. That's my intent, to get that done out of this budget. Grants wise, we were supposed to be awarded the grants, I thought, in March. For the 2 grants. One was to the Land Trust and one was to the Nature Conservancy, but they're all the trails and trailheads in Hopkinton that I was helping coordinate. And the DM, the $100 and something thousand worth of grants, and 116 or whatever it was. And here it is, June, and they still haven't been, the award letters still haven't come out. I mean, we have the grants. It's just a matter of them trying to figure out how to cross their T's and dot their I's, I think. So, but that puts us further and further back. Can we get them done, this season? And that's my main question. The one of them, there's some of these have wetland areas nearby. One of them is obviously a trail through a wetland, an elevated trail, and that typically should be done in the drier season. It's certainly a lot easier for the
Yeah.
for a contractor to do that. And then the other thing is contractors are pretty darn busy. You know, so a lot of work going on, and there may be shortages of materials. So all of those things are going to factor in, but as far as I know, it's out of our control. We're waiting for DM to tell us to go pull the trigger.
Okay.
All right, a new business, commission member forum, public forum. Anybody got anything?
I've got some stuff to share, and I really wish that Bradley had been here because I kind of did this for his benefit. Let me just pull it up. My notes. Won't repeat myself. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
What I did was I took some key points from our commission handbook and also from the town comprehensive plan that tells us basically what our charges to the Conservation Commission are. And I'll just go over them real briefly. Okay. We're to make sure the comprehensive plan appropriately reflects conservation needs identified by the commission. We is to establish groundwater and wellhead protection ordinance. Now this is from 2001 when this was written. So we've done some things on those items already. Assist the land trust in acquiring parcels, easements, and development rights, and implement conservation needs of the comprehensive plan. Make recommendations to changes to zoning regulations to implement conservation needs according to the comprehensive plan. Make recommendations to the planning, zoning, and other boards and the town council. Research and tabulate demographic information. Harvey, you've done a lot of that in the last couple of years. Needed to make wise conservation plans. Okay, so those are the key points. And it talks about our meetings. All our meetings should be open to the public. And it says special closed meetings. However, I don't know what that that's what got me looking at this state statute on open meetings a little more deeply. And because we're like, that may have come under the law itself, but because we're an advisory commission, the conditions for special closed meetings don't apply to us. Okay. Also, workshops and site visits is another thing. No official action will be taken at these occasions, but we should be, the visit should be summarized, and we already do that. So, and included with the next meeting's minutes. Okay, then under the comprehensive plan, under recreation, conservation, and open space, item number 2, develop a plan and maintenance program for town property on Wood River and Bridge Street to provide better access. I've never dealt with that. Develop a plan to establish and maintain a network of biking and hiking trails. Well, we're doing the hiking trails, that's for sure. Develop a greenway network. Remember that recommendation, Harvey?
It goes back 20 years.
Yeah.
More than 20 years.
That's from our current comprehensive plan. I have trouble with that word. All right. Under natural and cultural features, it's develop management plans for important resources and conservation areas, prepare amendments to local ordinances, including zoning, that will protect valuable wetlands, utilize state inventory mapping. Well, sooner or later we'll get our access to the mapping to identify important parcels of land where valuable wildlife habitat remains and where rare and endangered species exist. Identify programs and grants and alternative methods of purchasing properties that contain important wildlife habitat, and evaluate options for preservation and protection of wildlife habitat without purchase. I would say that Witch's Rock is one of the things that fit under that category. Number 8, to develop signage directing tourists to town attractions. That would be nice. Under housing, identify and designate certain roads as scenic and adopt design standards for their protection. I don't know what they mean by design standards, but whatever. And also under that same category, number 10, educate the public on the importance of recycling solid waste. I could add a few things to that recommendation, like use of pesticides and herbicides and that kind of thing too. Number 12, maintain an up-to-date list of agricultural operations in Hopkinton. And number 13, let's see, in concert with the Economic Development Commission goals and policy, revisit the Farm Viability Ordinance and prepare programs to assist agricultural operations that are viable businesses. There again, we do not have an Economic Development Commission with which to work. So we're it, guys.
Yep.
And that's just basically what the town expects of us right there. All in a nutshell.
So Deb,
Yes, Harvey.
that's quite a list. Brad's not here. How about sharing? Is that all in one document?
Yes, it is. I can share it around.
Why don't you just share it around? We'll have a discussion of it maybe at our next meeting or something again, after everybody's read it. And maybe we can see where a few things are out of date, or we can see where we realize there's some things that next time we do a comp plan revision ought to get worked in, or whatever it is. Let's just see what our responses are.
I just thought, because we haven't had any in-person meetings since he joined us, and it's really hard to come back up to speed with what's going on without having read those documents. So he may
Lydia,
have read the comprehensive plan. And
Lydia, let me ask right now, Lydia, have you read those several chapters of the comprehensive plan, or at least flipped through them, the cultural and natural resources, and I'm drawing a blank on the help me out. What's the other chapters? As soon as I hear them, I know.
Economic development. There was, okay, I'll go back.
Anyway,
Yeah, when I first joined, I had spent a considerable amount of time reading through the whole comprehensive plan. It's
okay.
been about 5 years, so me needing a refresher would not be, out of hand. That's definitely something I could revisit and read again.
Well, maybe if Deb gets these out, Deb, do they refer to the section number in the comprehensive plan?
Yes, they do.
Okay, yeah, if you got that, then if somebody wants to know more about it, you just flip right to it. You go right
Yeah,
to that.
recreation, conservation, and open space, natural.
That's it, the recreation, conservation, and open space. Yeah.
Circulation. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's recreation, conservation, and open space. That's the other main. Those are, and the cultural and natural features. Those are probably the two main.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Most of our stuff lies.
Lydia, I think I may have sent out a copy of our old handbook, but did you receive it? I may not have, because
It would have been a long time ago if I had.
I just discovered this not too long ago myself, so I'll just send it out so you can read it, and just to have in your file.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Now it's open meeting training. I knew of the May 24th one. I had not been given an agenda. I was not told how long it was going to last. It started at 6. I had a 7 o'clock Zoom with Peter Stetson working on these, the kiosk posters. So I had to get off a couple of minutes before 7, and I don't know how long it went on or whatever else they covered, but the part that I saw was mostly parliamentary procedure, which was, interesting and everything, but it was, I don't think I got the whole shebang. And I've gone back onto the town website and it's not there. so I have no way to go back and see a video of it that I
Um,
know of. And
Joe
if there is,
I'm sorry. Joe has his hand up, and I think he attended. He might be able to fill us in on what went on at that open meetings training.
okay, you said Joe?
Yeah, Joe has his hand up.
All right, I'm not even seeing him on the list here, but that's great. Joe, if you're there, we'll try to get you to speak to that.
There he is.
Hi, this is Joe Moreau. Debbie is correct that I did listen to that workshop, and it was very interesting, especially at the end, Harvey, when they were talking about the Open Meetings Act. And I believe the state rep said that the information would be available on a state website. They weren't very clear on exactly where you could find it, but that's what I had heard them say.
Who was the person presenting that? I remember the lady, but I don't know what hat she was in the Ethics Commission, I think, right?
Right, and it was through the Rhode Island State House, and they had an outside speaker. To tell you the truth, I've listened to so many of those, Harvey, lately, the workshops, that they all kind of blend in together at this point.
Well, anyway, I would, Deb, if you maybe can track down if it exists out there, because it's not on, I couldn't find it on the town website, so I haven't been able to watch the parts that I missed.
Okay, so we'll try to pull that up for you, Harvey.
And just when you find it, just a piece of information, send that, send it to Brad and Lydia and stuff too. Lydia, you didn't make that meeting at all, did you?
Nope, I had signed up for it, and then I didn't see the reminder, so that was on me.
Okay.
Yes. So I did ethics, but I wasn't able to do the second one. But I went and read everything and read the statute 100
Okay.
times.
All right.
I just wanted to say, I noticed that the public access channel tonight had the Potter Hill Mill Zoom meeting on. And today it must have been added to our website. There was information where residents could Zoom into that. But for this workshop, Lisa had sent me an email, and you had to pre-register and sign up. And then I was forwarded information to attend that meeting. So I'm sure Lisa, her mom had passed away, so she's been out of work for a while, but I'm sure she has the contact information too.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll dig around and we'll get it. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, I'll if you can unmute me, and then I'm going to raise my hand after I just had some comments, please.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
When is it? I didn't understand what's getting ready to happen. What does Joe need?
He said that he has some comments, but I guess he'll wait till the next section under other, I guess.
Under public forum, correct?
Public forum.
I think. Okay, we actually went past public forum, but I had on some reason, I think, you know what it is? The narrative is so long for the explaining about the COVID that I was right at the point where it would have been 2 pages. And that makes it very difficult, especially even to find room on the bulletin board at Town Hall to put up 2 pages. It's just one of those silly things that's just one of the things you got to deal with. So I put commission member forum and public forum on as 6A. So Joe, go right ahead. And I wasn't trying to exclude anybody. It just, I was trying to fit this thing together at the bottom of the page.
No, that's fine. I understand, Harvey. I listened to the planning board meetings, and to Deb's point about Fairview Estates, Steve Carroll from Crossman Engineering, he had complimented the engineering firm that did the work. They followed all the specs required as far as retention ponds and so forth. But they did stress the point that it's up to the homeowners association to accept the responsibility to make sure the inspections of the runoff systems are going to be done according to the plans and the blueprints. And I believe they were going to have wording at the next meeting to show that they are responsible for that. The next point I wanted to mention was, Javi, you had mentioned about the sidewalks for Stone Ridge. It was last night, and they had two time frames, one at 5 and one at 5:30. And I know there were two planning board members for the 5 and two for the 5:30. As far as residents, because I've raised this question before, it was not included residents, and Al Diorio mentioned that they had a site visit in Richmond a while back, and a resident had a serious fall. So there's a lot of concerns, and I don't blame them, from the landowners about accepting responsibilities if someone falls. And speaking to someone today, it was quite a grueling trek through there, as you know, Javi, with the heat and everything else. So that was an issue, but that did happen last night. The other thing I wanted to mention was I had sent a few weeks back an email to a member of our council looking for the contact person for the Potter Hill Mill project. And the reason why I did that was because I lived in Coventry for over 40 years. I'm sure you've seen on the news the issues that they're having at Johnson's Pond with the dam, with the wells, with the low water tables, with the waterfront property now, and the boats are just dry docked. And I have a friend who lives right on Johnson's Pond, and I was hoping to put them in contact with the Johnson's Pond Association to help our town out in our efforts, but no response from that council member. As far as the farm viability, I spoke to Scott. I met him for breakfast this morning, and Scott has offered to sponsor whatever we come up with the farm viability. I did have a conversation a few times with one of our farmers who is working on the materials to present, and also mentioned about the Conservation Commission working on that, as you said. I had spoken to Mike Gary, and Mike Gary had announced at a council meeting that he would run with it and be the lead person. After that, I had spoken to Mike on the phone, and I just suggested to Mike that, you know, maybe he should not be the lead person initially. He could certainly be part of a workshop, but my thought process was that to eliminate any conflict of interest that someone may bring up because of Mike and his wife having solar on their farm, but they are true farmers. So Mike and I did discuss that, and my whole point is I just hope that, you know, you've done a lot of the work already, someone else is doing some of the work, and I hope one party's not waiting for the other party to take the ball and run with it. You know, somehow it has to be coordinated, and that's all I wanted to mention, because I truly believe that our farmers, we need to do more for our true farmers. That's it, and I appreciate your time.
Okay, Joe. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
You know, one, you just said that about, I'm not sure where the conflict is with Gary, unless I'm misunderstanding things. They have solar, they've had it for a couple of years. They're not qualified, they didn't qualify for any additional solar as far as I know.
They
I don't
would have, they have 20 acres.
They have 20 acres, so that allowed them, based on income, to have maybe 2 acres of solar. I'm guessing, I'm ballparking this, but
They had acreage, but they felt they didn't want to give up any more farmland, really.
I'm sorry,
They didn't want to give up any more farmland, Harvey.
Right, so they could potentially have 1 more acre, but they don't want to, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so but on the books, it looks like a potential conflict, so I hear you, Joe. Yeah, I thought if they couldn't have any more, where's the conflict, that's all. Okay.
Right, right, because someone will definitely, in my opinion, someone definitely will bring that point up that here Mike Gary is, you know, is in charge of this farm viability ordinance.
I hear you. I hear you. It's, I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
I have an item here, other. We don't usually use that, I don't think. Is there any other?
No,
Okay.
no, we covered everything.
Identify topics for the next meeting. Is there anything that we don't have on this agenda that we want to bring up at a future meeting? Deb, we want to bring up your
Yeah,
your kind of list of all the Conservation Commission
of the, yeah, Conservation Commission and,
charges.
yeah, charges. And we're going to have to, I don't know when Brushy Brook's going to come up, but we were asked to look at that as well. Can you just put it on the agenda, Harvey? And if
Yeah, Brushy Brook.
that's coming up on planning board, we should be able to discuss it. And I think that if we did we receive any kind of, we received some materials on that, didn't we?
On Brushy Brook, I've gone to the town website, I think, and seen what they had there. You get a packet, of course, but so I looked at the layout in general. I'm sure that we should get ahead of the curve on that one if we can. I don't know, maybe we're behind the curve, but bring up whatever our combination of issues and stuff there are at Brushy Brook. I know there's some Native American sites in there that they've ignored that ought to get discussed. They ought to at least have to go out and identify them.
There is that National Heritage Site up in the upper, the northernmost, westernmost part of the property, I believe.
Okay. That is still off area. It's not going to be directly cleared. It's not going to be in the limits of disturbance, I don't think, but I'm sure whatever they're doing is going to impact it. Okay, so that's two items there, Brushy Brook. And then the other one was, it's just a little silly thing, Wood River Health, we got asked to share our thoughts with the engineer for Wood River Health, but it wasn't a lot of detail, but your issues of Wood River Health was like they always are, water and sewer.
Water, sewer, and stormwater. How are they going to handle that? That's it. Those are the three biggies.
Okay. All right. So I think we may be.
From Alaska. Hold on a minute. I'm almost done. Okay.
All right.
All right, Harvey.
Okay. All right. So I think we're at adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a, yep. Go ahead, Deb.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Lydia?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay. All in favor? Harvey, aye.
Deb, aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you.